Yo 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 yo. Hello 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 hello. There we go. What the hell? You know? Yes, it has been quite a long time. Yes, indeed, it has. Continue. Cancel. You know, the thing is, hey, if I'm not available, that's a good thing. Okay, that means a brother busy. Busy being busy. Busy means busy. So mind your own business. Because I was minding mine for a long ass time. And it's a hot day today, you know, in the summers of where I am. Undisclosed locations. It's like, what are we gonna do, you know? So quite a bit has been brewing on my end. I started an app which is kind of fun, but it's not easy, you know. Life is not easy, but it's cool. I'm still trying to figure out how to even log in anymore. It's been so long. It's been so long. Lost a lot of weight, you know what I'm saying? And that's not a good thing from where I'm from and how I see things. Not great. Not one bit. I'm gonna go to the gym in about half an hour, but until then I thought I'd say hello to nobody. One viewer in the chat, that works for me, you know. Okay, 2, oh, not bad. 3, not 2. A lot of hurdles in the app business, but I'm not going to talk much about the app because it's kind of how you say it is a private. You know, it is a you don't want to show all your cards, put all their cards on the table. That is a no-no in the proprietary business, so we don't do it. However, I can tell you that, you know, whatever it's about, okay, it's about the dining industry, but that's all you get to know. Alright, it's to make dining easier for you, customers who come to eat food, okay, and that's all I'm telling you. And give me a sec, will you? Hello? as I was saying before I got a call from my laundry guy, is I feel bad for the people who have to go to a restaurant and have a hard time just getting their food or their bill, and that's the pain point that I felt very pained by, and so that's what I've been working on, hustling on, and yeah, it's a new venture, but I will tell you this: there's a lot of shit that you got to worry about when you start a company, and it's not just an app company, but yeah, I mean, this one's a little trickier because you have to. This is a consumer-facing app, which means that you have to you have to be very careful of what you make out there because it's all about convenience. If it's business-facing, that's fine because one or two businesses will tell you, hey, these are the issues we're facing, but a consumer doesn't care about that. They're just saying, yo, why the fuck is this not working? So bugs, you don't have space or time for bugs. Hell nah, you don't. It has to be foolproof. So that's what we're working through, and since I'm doing this all by myself right now through an application or a few AI apps, I'm a vibe coder officially. I wouldn't say I'm an agentic engineer, which is the term given to those who actually know how to code and use AI. I would say I wouldn't even say I'm a prompt engineer because that means you know how to make sure that you're teaching the AI to be the most efficient version of themselves with every prompt, and I know how to do it, but I'm just too lazy, so I just say, yo, do this. Yo, why ain't this working? Yo, what the fuck did you just do? Yo, this is supposed to work. Yo, we can't afford going down when we're live. Things like that. So I'm just being myself, and it's doing a good job in giving me my results. However, I don't have any coding expertise, so security issues, security vulnerabilities, bugs, inconsistencies, redundant code, when it's duplicated 3-4 times and you don't even know about it and you're just wasting server space with code base. Things like that are fun to try and fix without a coder. Let me play some music while we're at it, you know what I'm saying? Can you hear the music? I guess not, huh? That's not good. I thought I made this app so that it's supposed to take in music. Great, my mic isn't even working. Yo. Still not working. Hello. Hello? Let me fix that for us, you know what I'm saying? Hello. That works on my end. Does it work on... There we go, my bad. Hope this works better for you all. So that's the whole thing. You got to make sure that you're clearing all the bugs on your own. And so, yeah, I use some prompts that Google will give you to make sure it's a solid, clean code. But it is a very complicated app, and I'm amazed by how much you can do without knowing anything about what you're doing. And that's what the world has come to. Anyone can make apps now, and they should. The temporary future, I think, is making apps, and then the permanent future is making agents instead of apps, because many smart ones have said that apps are a thing of the past. So if we're making a bunch of apps that are convenient to everybody, do you think people will just have a bunch of apps on their phone, like a million apps? People don't like apps. They're sick of apps. They have enough apps. Unless you find a way to squeeze into their day with, the little time that they want to use your app. If you can make something that useful, then you're doing great. But I'm not in the app business. I'm not trying to solve world problems. I'm just trying to work on a project that I've been particularly passionate about for several years, and that's what I started doing. But at the same time, I am a filmmaker, so I still have to keep that intact somehow. I know that the last 4 years of working in this world as a filmmaker and trying to make things, trying to bring it out, it's hard. Matter of fact, there's a 1% chance that your startup might succeed or even make it through. There's probably a 1% or less than chance of you getting a script even into production, let alone complete, let alone distributed or released. So fuck all that noise, every time the chances decrease and the odds are against you. So I said, you know what? Why don't I couple the 1% chance that I have with filmmaking with the 1% chance I have in startups? So I have a 2% chance out of 200, which still leaves me at 1% generally. So basically I'm doing nothing to improve my odds, and that's fun. Let me increase the volume so you can kind of hear the music, because this is not a bad song. In the process, I don't have much work that helps me float financially, so just diving deeper and deeper in debt. But the good thing is I have a credit line to go into debt with, and the goal is to use it to try to make one of these things work out. It's a do or die situation, and I'm very well aware of it, and I know that the higher chance of me dying, the chance of me dying definitely trumps the chance of people using this thing, But again, this is not for me. This is not for pride. This is because I tried, I just want to try something new. And I always wanted to learn how to code. I always wanted to be a part of solving something, because to me a startup is not about being an entrepreneur. That would be about ego. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't give a shit about being an entrepreneur. I don't give a shit about making money. Matter of fact, take my equity. Don't. But that's because I want to retain control over the creative decisions the company makes, and that's why I would keep equity. Not because I want to be rich off of my own product. I think that's a byproduct of the brain that's going behind the product itself, and I think that I do have, and I will take credit for thinking clearly in terms of what objectively works for a particularly small problem. I mean specific problem, not small. It could be a small or big problem, but if I know it, I'm going to dive into it. And that's what film is for me. A certain problem, any conflict in a story, in a character's life, is a small problem. Again, not small by small, I meant specific problem. 1 out of a million billion problems that exist. It's a specific problem. It could be small or big again. Solving that problem is the fun, and my brain works in ways of dialogue and human interaction and conversation and dialogue and development of a human character, and the characteristics of a personality. That's how it works, and that's how I designed my life to work for the last decade. Just thinking about that shit, watching a lot of movies, trying to understand how a story takes place, even if it's reading a couple novels once in a while. And talking to people, interacting with friends and family, and dating. All this shit combined is just research nonstop into that thing. So that's what I was trying to do. However, I realized that there are things that my brain also just naturally likes to be a part of, which is solving other things that I see are problems. Not necessarily every problem. I don't give a fuck about every problem. I don't have the capacity. Whatever I do see as a problem and I find a solution, I want to dive into it. And I never saw a way how, up until the point I was able to create an app through just AI. So that's pretty amazing. It's insanely amazing. And it also tells me, no disrespect to coders out there, that the job of a coder has always been redundant. It has been useless. It has been not needed. And the people who did coding for the last 2 decades are the genius pioneers who had to put in the man force to make it what it has become today. It's almost like we have to waste our life in order for it to become so that you don't need us one day. And I wouldn't say it was a waste at all, even though I'm just trying to make a point that they sacrificed their life in a way. All these coders and programmers went so ham and did every syntax manually, every single line of code manually, which was unbelievable, right? And created the opportunity, the playground for a machine to think on its own. And we did that. And I'm not saying we, I'm saying y'all, you coders. It's almost like saying, if it wasn't for the carriages, there wouldn't be a car. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for carriages, there wouldn't be a car. So the horses took the load. They did the job that never needed to be done. They took one for the team of humanity for centuries, maybe, right? So animals were pulling us, and it was a job that didn't need to be done until you have the technology. Has to be done until you have the technology, and thanks to them, we finally have the technology. Thank you, horses. Thank you, coders. And a lot of other things just like that, right? There were, what other jobs? Shout out some jobs in the chat that I can try to connect this point to. You know what I'm saying? Even anything in science, like there was no such thing as those microscopes, the electron microscopes that you can really see tiny particles. There was just microscopes. But then until the technology came in, you kind of had to do some guesswork and experiments to see what the fuck is matter really made of. And cells. So shout out to the people who were doing the experiments that didn't need to be done. There's always a batch in history that did shit manually. Here's another example. You go to get a job at McDonald's. You're like, yo, I need to earn a quick side buck. $10 an hour, $8, I don't care. Just give me the job. Now you got a McDonald's hat, and all you do is punch in keys. They don't even type it in like, hey, I want a McBurgery burger. You type in one button and it gives you a McBurgery burger, a Whopper, or a fucking McChicken. One button, fries. Why did they need a human to do that? Because they couldn't automate the part that takes the order. So they had that person employed. Then they had the people who flip the burgers and make it. All those jobs are going to be gone once robots come in. But the job of putting the order into the machine was also a human. And now McDonald's has kiosks. So they say, you put the fucking order in. We'll just flip the burgers. You got rid of 1 or 2 jobs there. Yeah, thumbs up for that. You flip the burgers, we put in the orders. And that automation almost made that whole job redundant, of putting orders in. So they were useless anyways, but they were useful until the point where technology comes in, and that's just going to keep happening until there are no jobs left, at least in the manual labor field, And we haven't even hit humanoid robots yet. We haven't even hit that point. Once that comes in through these big companies like Tesla or the one that's going to do your laundry at home, until those robots come in, at least 100,000 different types of jobs are secure. but they're going to be gone. And then we're going to think in the future, 20 years down the line, that, yo, wait, why did a dude have to go into my plumbing and put his hand in the toilet and pull my shit out to unclog it? Why did he have to do that? Robots do that. Why? I can't believe they used to do that. That's disgusting. Why did we have to send humans down into sewages to swim in shit in order to fix up the sewage or something? Robots do that. So it's all going to happen, and the future is just going to be like, wait, what? Why were we doing that? So in a way, it's a good thing, but it's, like, jobs aren't important. You have to realize jobs are not important. We think they're important because that's how the fucking world made us think, that you need money to pay for your house and to pay for your needs and to make sure your wife and kids aren't crying like, hey, get a fucking job, dog. What are you doing at home? You need a job. Jobs are redundant, and they always had been. Do you think animals have jobs? And by job, I mean a transaction. Like, you do something for money. Or even, not even money, any kind of currency. Even in the animal kingdom, there is some sort of currency. There's some sort of reward for doing something. But the rewards they're getting is, they're getting a meal ticket. They're getting to procreate. And that's it. They get to eat good air. Have a good meal, rip up a fucking antelope or a zebra once in a while and have a good meal. You get an elephant, that's a good catch. So animals are thinking like, we live to live. We live to exist. And to exist, we need to eat and refuel our engine. Why do we need to refill our engine? So that tomorrow we can do it again. That's what we are all meant to do. However, humans have just advanced to a higher degree where our brain is saying we need other shit to do. We can't just be fucking surviving. Surviving is on the back end right now because that shit's coming to us. We have money, so we pay for food, we pay for water, we pay for alcohol. We pay to party. We pay to get bitches if we need them. We pay for everything. Everything is a transaction. We pay to get from one place to another. That's a service. We pay to fly. So we are designed to think, in order to pay for these things and afford a lifestyle, we need money, and for that money we need a job. And that's why we have unwittingly become slaves to some other company or a boss who exchange money for our brain power. And there's a word I learned in sociology, routinization. It's a routine. You're just a bot doing a routine, and you're getting paid for it. And we think we're moving somewhere forward in our lives. But again, what was the purpose of our existence? Not a job. That has become that. Because A, we're bored. B, we need money. I'd flip it. A, we need money. B, we're bored. Right? So we need to feel useful. And unfortunately, men are now designed to think. Over generations, we are designed, because evolution does this, to be outside, to be productive, to be doing something. So if men don't, like, think about your dads who are about to retire, or don't want to retire because they don't want to be sitting at home because they feel useless for the house. They'll work till they die. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make a sexist distinction here. Let's leave that shit out of it. But just think about your dads. Their brain just says, yo, I've been working all my life. I can't be at home. I don't want to emasculate myself in my own head. And don't tell me that's not a thing, because I've lived it. I lived in a live-in relationship where my girlfriend went to work and I stayed at home because I was trying to make films. But then she would come home and she would like it in the beginning, but eventually she'd be like, yo, why aren't you cooking dinner? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Which I started doing. I started cooking dinner. She's like, she's right. If I'm at home, I should cook dinner. I started cooking dinner. And then eventually it became a thing where, like, I'm still at home. But then there are people at her workplace that are killing it, looking sexy, dressing up nice, smelling good with perfume, whereas I'm just a slob at home trying to write. I do shower, but why do I need to get ready? I don't. So you come back home to a man who's not trying and just taking care of the dog, aka kid. And that's not what they want, dude. They don't want to see that. They want to see somebody who's grinding out there, hustling, putting their shit out there. I'm not saying she was a bad person by any means. She was a great person who took care of my bills for a long time. So I was a little problematic, no doubt. And I know we're kind of digressing. We'll talk about that some other day. But the point is, that's what our dads want to do. That's what men want to do, and that's what we're made to do in a way. And now let's put women in the situation. Women today also feel like they want to contribute to their own lives and to the family, and they want to be busy. They want to feel like they're contributing to something. So they want to work. They want to do these things. What's happening to men in the process? Now men don't want to work because we've been through that whole thing, and now we've had work fatigue. So we don't want a fucking basic job. That's why more men are jumping into starting businesses. I don't know if that's true than women, but go look for it, man. They don't want to work. They want to start a business. They want to take risks. They're done with this shit. They've seen their dads, and they're like, nah, fuck that. They want to take risks. They want to put their life on the line. And the woman can work, and she's taking care of the house while this guy's trying to do experiments. And that might fail. That might succeed. But no one should be stopped from doing experiments. What is the cost of doing experiments? Death. Are you going to die? That's the only thing you should be afraid of. And your child not having food to eat, which the wife will worry about. So she'll say, go fucking get a job. You tried your little experiment. You tried your game. You tried your business. Doesn't work. Try to get a job now. And then you got to succumb, which is why I'm not trying to get married anytime soon, because I don't want a wife saying, you tried your experiments. You tried film. You tried your startup. It doesn't work. At least I'm able to take care of myself right now. But if a wife comes in the picture, she will have a problem. She will look at my lifestyle and be like, I see what you're doing. You're just on your computer all day, but you're not really doing anything. And it will cause issues, and it will cause a breakup. Now you're telling me to find a girl who's so understanding, who has a job, who'll take care of everything. She will for 3 years, 5 years. But after that... So, point being, no one's supposed to work, okay? There will be a structure in place because we are heading towards that slowly. There will be a structure in place for everyone to survive. Maybe it's a universal basic income that keeps you afloat. And if you want to go above that and beyond that, you need to work. You need to start a company. You need to do something. But the bare minimum today has become, 2026, has become have a business idea and start trying to do it. Because everybody has needs. Everybody has something they want to buy, Even if it's a business owner, I want to buy some shit. Even if it's another business owner, they want to buy my shit. Or I want to buy their shit. And by shit, I don't mean actual shit. I want to buy what they're creating because it's useful for me. And vice versa. And that's how the new capitalism will go. I mean, it always has gone like that because everything we have bought has been from somebody who took a risk and started a business. Even if it's fucking Target or Walmart. They started a business with merchandise and selling that shit, or a retail store, a wholesale store. Somebody started that shit, took a risk on their life and their family and said, I want to do this because I think there is value here. And there was, because they're all big. If it's Apple, we're buying their laptops. If it's a simple candy man on the street, cotton candy man, he knows that that's a need at a carnival. So I'm gonna make cotton candy. I'm gonna make packaged foods. I'm gonna make fucking drugs. Everything is a demand. So as long as there is one, there will be a chance you can make it out there. You just need to be sharp enough to identify demand. And even if there isn't demand, you need to be sharp enough to create it because you're so fucking sure that this might help people. So we gotta shout out to those business owners, to those shout out to those entrepreneurs who really fucking took it on themselves and risked their whole life, risked their reputation, risked everything, put everything on the line just to try to make the world a better place and a more convenient place. One can argue that consumerism going so high to the point where there's wastage, it's damaging the planet. Matter of fact, it's dumbing our brain down too and making us materialistic. That's secondary. We created shit to make life fun for us. Arcade games, video games, carnivals, fucking laser tag, go-karting, fucking bars and clubs and shisha and, all these legal activities, cigarettes. These are businesses that were made to relieve our stress. Movie theaters. Movies. Motherfucker. And you gotta shout out to those people. You gotta give them credit. You gotta, man. We're not meant to have jobs, but the people who are making these businesses need help. So if it's product, if it's marketing, operations, if it's coding, if it's HR, recruitment, or if it's fucking interns, anybody who will get work done for cheap. That's the point of businesses. The point of the business is not to pay you for a job. A restaurant isn't started for waiters. Did you ever hear of a restaurateur going, I want to help people have waiter jobs? Is that why you started the restaurant? Highly doubt that shit. You started the restaurant to make good food for good people and to come eat and just compliment the food and fuck off. Have a good meal and fuck off. That's why the restaurateur made their restaurant. So you can't blame her if the job of a waiter is gone. It's a job. It's a job that a robot can do. And robots will do that someday. We're not meant for jobs. We're not meant to do something to earn money. We're meant to make money and solve a problem. That's where our brain is needed. AI could probably do that, but we're the ones supposed to be doing that, right? Find a demand, create a need, and sell. And in the process, hire and fire if you need to, because you're done with the job. The job is now redundant if you're able to get that job done. So that's why Facebook, Google, mass layoffs. They hired you because they needed you. And if they don't need you anymore, why the fuck are you trying to sign, what's it called? The fucking agreement, what do you call it when everybody goes, a petition? Why are you trying to sign a petition saying, I don't want to lose my job? I just heard Google's doing this thing, forming a coup and saying, this is the Sundar Pichai, I don't want to lose my job. Google's purpose was not to create jobs. That is a result. It is a consequence of their expansion. Okay, so they're doing great. They're expanding. That's why they're able to hire you. Never forget that. That's how fucking much we have taken for granted jobs. That, hey, nobody's hiring me. I'm on fucking monster.com, indeed.com every day. Nobody's fucking hiring me. I have skill. I'm making resumes. Nobody's fucking hiring. No, when you get a job, first of all, be very grateful for that company's success to be able to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Am I frozen? I better not be lagging frozen. Oh, fuck. Sober as hell, by the way, this morning.
Where was I now? I was in my seat at home. Be grateful you got the job, not pissed that you're losing the job. Their job is not to give you a job and keep you at the job. That's not their job. That's not why the fuck they made their business. And stop fucking hating on enterprises, corporations, any trillion-dollar company. They gave you everything today. Without Google, without Apple, without Microsoft, without fucking AMD, Intel, you would not even be watching this, you motherfuckers. You wouldn't be able to sit here and watch YouTube. You wouldn't be able to even put your shit on a computer. You wouldn't even be able to make a website or do the work you do, because I bet you 100% of those who are trying to watch this right now or ever watch anything have a job that depends on a computer. And now you're saying, oh, you know, you're driving a Tesla and you're like working on your fucking MacBook and you're texting on your iPhone. You're doing all this shit, right? This is you. I'm talking about you. This is what you're doing. And then you're like, you know what? Fuck Elon. Fuck billionaires. What the fuck is going on here? Fuck you all. How dare you be rich? If you have so much money, you're in the Tesla right now tweeting. I don't know where you came up with this thought today after your coffee. I don't know what the fuck got up your ass, but today you had a thought to tweet. If they've got so much money, why aren't they literally saving poverty? First of all, saving poverty is not a thing. I know I just made it up, but I'm acting dumb. If you hear the construction apologies, why aren't you saving poverty? Why aren't you fixing global warming? But no, you want to earn more money. That's how greedy you are. Shut the fuck up, you slut. Is the nicest way I can put it. It's the nicest way I can put it. Anybody who hates on Billy, and the only person I have to sit and talk to understand why they're saying this shit is Bernie Sanders, and nobody else in the world. Do you have the right to say that? Because you did not do any research about what the person has become a billionaire for, what he is doing with his billions or her billions, what they intended to do, and how much struggle they came with. Don't forget, they were you and me once too, having bills to pay, living paycheck to paycheck. No, but Elon had $1 billion from his dad. Trump had $1 million. All these billionaires all had billions of dollars to start their business. Not true, A. B, and if they do, again, they gave you the car you're sitting in that's driving itself. They gave you the phone you're texting on or tweeting on that is now a touch panel keyboard. Did you ever in a billion years think that you'd be able to touch a screen to type shit? You got rid of one piece of hardware on a phone, which is the keyboard, which used to be buttons on a BlackBerry or a Nokia. We used to fucking use the number pad to text, if you don't remember, but now we're typing it in this fucking glass. And then we have a touchpad tablet. We have fucking Netflix at the tip of our fingers. There was a time where I'd have to go to the video store to buy or rent a movie. $2 per movie. I'd have to go to the video store. That's an experience on its own. But Netflix, billionaire. Blockbuster. You went to Blockbuster to rent movies? They're making money. Right? But they started a concept that felt was a need for you. You fucking greatless. Ungrateful. That's the word. Motherfuckers. How is that fair? You fucking hypocrites. I'll tell you why you're a fucking hypocrite. You have a Tesla, you have an iPhone, and you have a MacBook. The MacBook and your iPhone together probably cost $3,000. Your Tesla probably costs $600 in monthly payments, and you put a down payment of $3,000 or $4,000. All right. You got money to pay for all this shit. You could have bought a cheaper iPhone and a cheaper MacBook, but nah, you chose the best one. You chose a Pro, not an Air, even though you do nothing with the graphics power, even though you do nothing with the power that an iPhone 18 Max Pro does, because any XR takes a good amount of good quality image, has good storage, has everything you would need. But no, you need the Max. Why? Because you want to show off to your friends what you have, and that's the point, right? They made it so that you do that. So that's okay. That's branding, that's marketing, that's their job, and you fell for it, and you bought something you don't need. Why couldn't you save the extra $500 to $1,000 a month and donate it? You fucking hypocrite. A charity of your choice. Pets. You like pets, I heard, because I saw your social media. You're reposting pictures of lost pets that need daddies, but you're not adopting them. You fucking hypocrites. Shut the fuck up. I'm a hypocrite. If the world can say that, it would be a way better place. We'd all be chill because we put a mirror on ourselves, and I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to solve global warming. I wouldn't even tell somebody not to litter. I wouldn't even not litter at myself on the beach, you know. You know that it's so inconsequential. One little piece of chewing gum paper wrap, inconsequential. 50% of you still litter, so shut the hell up. Or spit. Or use plastic. Okay? So let's not hate on business owners. That's the funny thing. When I say business owner, you think, oh, mom pop shop. They started a cute little business, a little shop in the corner that sells pet food. How cute. They're struggling. Business owners are struggling. There isn't enough opportunity for them, or fucking government subsidies and programs for these business owners. First we cry about Section 8. We cry about people who are locked in the ghetto and aren't unable to get out of there, unable to get good education. We cry about them. Then we cry about people who have money to start a business and started a business, and they're like, oh no, these restaurants, we need to keep them running. We're crying about everything till the point it's a business owner. But then when you think about a business owner who has, say this mom and pop shop, by the way, has a pet store. It's called Petsy. And Petsy has one outlet, and it's the neighborhood pet store, the go-to household name in the neighborhood. We all take our pets there. They love it. The owners are so cute. They're this old couple, and they just keep giving our pets treats. And we made them so much money because we have so many pets in this neighborhood that they decided to open another outlet down the street in another neighborhood, in a neighboring town. Wow, so cool. Sometimes they're running that branch and sometimes they're at this one. It's an amazing mom and shop business owner. We're so happy for the business. Then they have 5 outlets. Wow, good, still good. 10 outlets. Okay, now they have 100 outlets nationwide. It's an official franchise, Petsy. Yeah. And now they're making millions. And now you say, fuck millionaires. Fuck these fucking, enterprises. Fuck that. So you just said fuck you to somebody who came out of the ghetto on their own, started a business under a major loan, took a big risk, and got somewhere, and barely started making net profits, has investors, VCs coming in, and they got patents on their pet products and shit, and now they're a problem. Do you understand the issue here? So basically what you're saying is, hey, I like it when you solve my problem. You get my pet a nice leash and a harness. You got a nice tie-up with a manufacturer who does that shit. But you don't like it when they solve everybody's problem. Do you understand how fucked up you sound right there? Do you understand? That's crazy to me. But that's the world we live in. Retarded hypocrites. Retards. I don't think I have much else to say today. Time to go to the gym.